The Flames get hot in the second half and pull away for the 35-24 win over East Carolina. Welcome into the Flames Central Game Day post-game show presented by Frank Good Builders. Alongside Joe Yock, I'm Matt Warner. Joe, if I had told you at the end of the first quarter, oh, Liberty's going to hang 35 on the board, you would have said, no way. Yeah. What changed for Liberty to get things rolling, especially offensively?
Well, I mean, winners find a way to do winning things. And so the staff realized that, hey, there's got to be opportunity somewhere. And they found that opportunity by making some formation changes in the run game, which allowed them to attack just outside of the tackle. And then most importantly, they got Caden Salter in rhythm throwing the football, and they were able to throw the football to the outside. It wasn't over the middle of the field. It was to the outside with the outs and the hitches, and then obviously the corner routes. They had 3 of those for touchdowns, which really got them cranked up and going.
All right, Emily Austin is standing by right now with Jamie Chadwell with more on this huge win for the Flames.
Well, Coach Chadwell, I feel like I just was put on an emotional roller coaster. There's a lot to cover, but it's like 2 a.m., so we'll keep it brief. Talk about strike the stone. I'm sure this victory felt good for you and your team. What can you say about their fight, their effort, not giving up, and coming back for this victory?
Well, you know, that's one thing that we pride ourselves on is, hey, we're going to play 4 quarters, and we've been challenging them for the past 3 weeks to start fast, and we can't do it for whatever reason. But they don't doubt. They don't stop believing, just like the song says, and the Flames quarter, and they keep fighting, keep pushing. And, you know, we're not perfect. We're not maybe a great team by any means, but they never think they're out of it. And they play hard for each other, and they care for each other. And that, to me, that's what I love about them. They do that. I mean, there's not been this excitement at 2 a.m. in Lynchburg on this campus in a long, long time.
Yeah, that may be true, as it's now approaching 2:30 here.
Not long time.
Yeah.
Ever.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights from this ball game. We mentioned Liberty started really slow. First off, we had almost a 5-hour weather delay. When we came back from that, it was ECU that was hot offensively. You saw the deep pass. They ended up setting up the Garcia touchdown run, and the Pirates went up 7-0 early.
Yeah, ECU did a good job after the break to be able to come out and put those 17 points on the board right away. But then you saw where Liberty started, Cooley started to get their running game going, and then obviously Salter throwing that touchdown to pass to Elijah Cannon and, you know, hitting a bunch of different passes throughout the night.
Yeah, that was late in the first half. It was a 17-7 ECU lead at the break. Second half, that's when Reese Smith showed out in a big way. The transfer from West Virginia, his biggest game as a member of the Flames. 3 touchdown catches overall in the night. Also 6 grabs overall, 80 yards through the air. Reese Smith ended up being the favorite target for Caden Salter on the evening. And then those 2 late turnovers for ECU. They had avoided the turnover all night long. They had the fumble. That was huge as they were driving. And then a pick. And then this run from Quentin Cooley that sealed the deal.
Cooley puts a nail in the coffin right there. But like you said, those 2 turnovers were huge for the Liberty defense to get. And then you take a look at, you know, the passing here. You never thought early on, like with no rhythm in the offense, that Caden Salter throws for 223, and yet the Liberty, an ECU defense that hadn't given up 100 yards in the season so far, gives up 191, 414 total yards of offense for Liberty. They really came alive later in the ballgame.
And also Liberty 13 of 17 third down conversions. They moved the chains. They were methodical offensively. And in the second half, they scored on every drive. In fact, their last 5 drives of this game, they scored touchdowns on all of them.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously when they found their rhythm, that's what they need to do. Then Caden Salter, you could really sense him throwing the football and even running the football. When he picked up the 4th down that they really needed late in the game, it was like he had that swagger back to him and the ability to say, okay, I want to be able to take this offense on my shoulders and put it on me, and they were able to do that and come out with a victory.
We mentioned Reese Smith and how great he was for the Flames tonight. Coming out party really for him. It was good to see him, a kid that had been hurt, missed all last season with a knee injury. Take a look at some of his highlights on the night. we saw, a year and a half ago. It was a spring game before the 23 season. We're like, well, this kid could be a weapon.
Yeah.
Had to battle through all the injuries, but boy, he was a weapon for Caden Salter tonight with the 3 scores.
Yeah, he had 3 scores, and they were obviously they were so crucial. But he could have even had a 4th score. He had it right there in his hand. So you can tell, and that's what Caden Salter's looking for. Like you look at the guys across the board, whether it's Tyson Mobley, whether it's Elijah Canyon, now that it's Reese Smith, Trayon Sibley. Like now you're starting to see that he's gaining confidence in these weapons that he has at his disposal.
You talk about Salter. It was a frustrating first half, or much of the first half for him as well. Really seemed to settle in the second half. And you've been calling for it, Joe. We'll give you some credit here. You've been calling for some quick passes, work the outside. He started to do that, a lot of completions on first down, and then you saw him with his legs make some big plays down the stretch of this game as well.
Yeah, you almost felt as if that when they started giving him the passes to the outside, take a look at these corner routes that he threw 3 for touchdowns. And then there, look at that one. That was the big 4th down. But what you really saw from him was the old Caden Salter,
right?
Where it was like, okay, now I know that I can throw the ball, but then he went back to using his legs, and when it counted, when he really needed to, he kept himself alive with his legs. And so when Caden is running the football and throwing it the way that he can throw it, Liberty becomes a very, very dangerous team offensively.
Yeah, Liberty moves to 4-0 on the season. Another tough test upcoming. They hit the road now next week at App State, the same App State team that beat ECU a week ago. So that will be a tough test before Liberty dives all the way in to Conference USA play. After that, they return home to face FIU on October 8th. But a big showdown as they go down to App State.
There is no rest for the weary after a long
But I'll tell you this. You feel a little bit better. You stay up till 2:30 in the morning. Doesn't feel quite as bad when you got that win. I'm telling you right now, there's some guys on a long bus ride back home tonight that aren't feeling nearly as good after this one here this evening. So once again, Liberty closes it out. 35-24 the final. The Flames improve to 4-0 on the season.